Your closest friend, Lindsey Graham, just said that he's not willing to support Trump or Hillary Clinton. Why are you ready to support Trump?
Well, I've said all along that I would support the nominee of the party. I believe that a Hillary Clinton presidency will cause the economy to continue to stumble along and put us in the economic malaise that basically we've had for 8 years.
In some ways, I wonder if you think that the party leadership is sort of disconnected to what the base of the party wants. I mean, millions of supporters are getting behind Donald Trump, but the leadership is not. Are you worried that there's a disconnect there?
You have to draw the conclusion that there is some distance, if not a disconnect, between party leadership and members of Congress and the many of the voters who have selected Donald Trump to be the nominee of the party. We could go down the list, but a lot of it is older, white, blue-collar workers who see no prospect of a job ever again. We see dissatisfied young people who are carrying student debts into their first job for many, many years. So and of course, the perception, which is largely reality, not totally, that there's gridlock in Washington, and that's given rise to Trump and Sanders. And that's something that we in the Republican Party are going to have to look at very carefully.
And should your leadership listen to those folks a little bit better?
You have to listen to people that have chosen the nominee of our Republican Party. I think it would be foolish to ignore them.
So is there anything specific in Donald Trump's national security profile that's better than Hillary Clinton? Is there anything specific that you like about what he said about foreign policy?
Well, I think American leadership, he emphasizes that, and I think that's important. This president doesn't want to lead. Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State for 4 years. Tell me one accomplishment that she can point to besides the fact that she flew more miles than any other Secretary of State in history. Look, I believe that the Republican Party must maintain its viability as a party, and I am a Teddy Roosevelt, Ronald Reagan Republican, and I will do everything that I can to continue to steer the Republican Party along those lines in that direction. I believe that the greatest president of the 20th century was Ronald Reagan. I will continue to try to move our party in the direction of those principles, primarily peace through strength.
Do you have confidence that Trump could be like Reagan?
I think that he could be a capable leader. I think it's obvious that there has to be outreach on his part and to heal many of the wounds. There's always wounds in spirited political campaigns, but frankly, I have never seen the personalization of a campaign like this one, where people's integrity and character are questioned.
And that bothers you?
That bothers me a lot. It bothers me a lot because you can violently almost disagree with someone on an issue, but to attack their character and their integrity, then those wounds take a long time to heal.
Would you appear on the same stage with Donald Trump if he came
I think it would have to be a lot of things would have to happen. I think it's important for Donald Trump to express his appreciation for veterans, not John McCain, but veterans who were incarcerated as prisoners of war. What he said about me, John McCain, that's fine. Yeah, I don't require any repair of that. But when he said, I don't like people who were captured, then there's a body of American heroes that I'd like to see him retract that statement. Not about me, but about the others.
You're quoted as saying that him at the top of the ticket puts your race in play, makes it difficult for you.
But
is he good or bad at the
Okay, but what I was saying is that there is a Hispanic vote which I have to continue my good relationship with because of the turmoil that exists in this whole national campaign. And so anybody who doesn't agree that there's great turmoil and that any incumbent doesn't recognize that and have to campaign as hard as they possibly can, is unaware of the passing scene. That's what I was talking about.
Would you be helpful? Would you want him to retract those statements he made, specifically about undocumented Mexican immigrants when he called them, rapists and criminals? Would you want him to retract those statements?
Oh, I don't know. I think that it's important that we understand the importance of the Hispanic vote in America. Many states, they grow. In Arizona, more than 50% of the kids in school are Hispanic. After the 2012 election, as you know, we laid out a blueprint, and part of it was outreach to the Hispanic community. I think we all recognize that the Republican Party has to do that.
And he does too.
I assume so.
Mm-hmm. And we talked about that.
I haven't talked to him.
We're in the middle of vice presidential speculation game.
Okay.
What was that like in 2008 for you, and how did you end up with Sarah Palin?
Well, I still believe that, contrary to what has become the popular information and opinion, is that Sarah Palin energized our ticket. I have polling data back from then that shows that she did that. She beat Joe Biden in a debate. She energized our base. We went from 3 points down to about 4 or 5 points up.
She also made some big mistakes.
Of course she made some mistakes. Do you think that, yes, obviously I made mistakes. I will take full responsibility for my failure. I will not put that responsibility on Sarah Palin. She energized our campaign, and I'm very proud of her. I don't often make a comment like this, but she was treated terribly by what we know of as the mainstream media, and that's the only thing I will ever resent about my presidential campaign, is her treatment by the media. It was disgraceful.
What advice would you give Trump as he selects a vice presidential pick?
Someone who will unite the party.
Joni Ernst was just out here. She's mentioned as a possibility.
Oh, yeah. I think Joni Ernst would be tremendous. She is really remarkable. I think there's a number of members of the Senate. I think there's Paul Ryan is obviously was helpful to the Romney ticket, although I'm not sure he would want to do that again. I think there's a lot of people out there that he could choose from.
John McCain.
No.
You've had your time.
No education in the second kick of a mule.